The sun was setting over the dusty fields, casting long shadows over the farm where the farmer and his sons toiled day in and day out. But one evening, as the wind whispered through the golden fields, the farmer called his sons to him, a gleam of mystery in his eyes. "Boys," he said, his voice low and secretive, "there's treasure buried beneath this land." The boys leaned in, their eyes wide with disbelief. Treasure? Their minds raced. Was it gold? Silver? Gems? The farmer continued, his voice growing more intense. "But it is not easy to find. You must work, dig, and earn it. The treasure won't come easily." With that, he handed them a worn map, weathered by time and use. The boys rushed to the field where their father had instructed them, eager to unearth the riches they had always dreamed of. They dug and dug, their hands raw, sweat dripping down their faces, but the treasure never seemed to appear. The land seemed to mock their efforts, yielding nothing but earth and stone. They paused, exhausted and frustrated, staring at each other with doubt. Days passed, and the boys grew disheartened. The treasure felt like a distant fantasy, slipping further away with every turn of the shovel. They had worked tirelessly, but no gold, no silver, only dirt. One evening, exhausted beyond measure, they sat by the well, heads hanging low. It was then that the farmer approached them. Wiping his hands on his worn overalls, he looked down at his sons and smiled gently. "Boys, do you understand now?" he asked. The eldest son, his face creased with frustration, shook his head. "We've worked so hard, father, but the treasure, it's not there." The farmer chuckled softly, his eyes warm with wisdom. "Ah, but it is, my sons. You see, the treasure isn't buried in the earth. The treasure is in the labor, the work that you've put in, the sweat, the perseverance. Each shovel you've turned, each hour you've spent working the land, that is the treasure." The youngest son, who had been silent until then, spoke up, his voice trembling with understanding. "You mean the work itself is the reward?" The farmer nodded, his smile widening. "Exactly. The land may not give up its riches in gold, but it has given you something far greater: skills, strength, patience. And in the end, it's not gold that will make you rich, but the value of what you've built with your own hands." The boys looked out over the fields, the sun now setting in a fiery blaze of orange and pink. They felt the weight of their father's words, sinking in like the deep roots of the crops they had planted. They had worked hard, yes, but they had also learned the true meaning of treasure. It wasn't in something that could be bought or buried. It was in the effort, the growth, and the satisfaction of a job well done. And so, with a new understanding, they returned to their labor with renewed energy, their hearts light, their minds clear. The treasure, they realized, was not something to be found. It was something to be made from the ground beneath their feet and the strength in their hands. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe to help the channel grow.